has a home field advantage. Coming to you live from the Bambino's Italian Cafe studio, and as always, presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Chevy dealers of the Ozarks, and the Missouri State Highway Patrol, who reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. We go down to Southeast Missouri. We welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network Delta High School girls basketball coach, David Heeb. Coach Heeb, thanks so much for your time today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Been a couple of years since we visited on your route a couple of years ago to the Final Four, and in that case, you were playing the same opponent that you're going to play here in the quarterfinals with Walnut Grove, but 28-1 on the season. Kind of put a bow on this season for the listeners.
Well, we played a really tough schedule. We're in a very unique spot. Southeast Missouri, there are only 3 Class 1 girls teams in this whole entire part of the state. So for us to play, anybody, it's got to be a bigger school than us. But we've had so much success the last couple of years that we had a hard time finding local people that would play us. And so we've traveled to Kentucky. We've traveled to all different parts of Missouri, and we've played a really, really tough schedule. Our only loss was to a team over in Kentucky. They only have one class in Kentucky. There's no class 1, 2, or 3. They just all play for one state title. And this team was 35-3 last year and finished second in the state. They got beat in the state finals of Kentucky. They brought 4 starters back. 2 of them are going Division I. Just an incredible team. And so that was our only loss, but we've got some good wins over Park Hill Central, Principia. We beat Portageville. We beat Saxony Lutheran, a lot of schools that are still in the playoffs in the bigger classes. And so I'm just really proud of my team. This is probably the most improved team I've ever had from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. Every kid on our roster has improved and contributed in some way.
You look at, last year obviously had some success as well. Last year, 25 wins. Kind of compare that team. What did you have to replace due to graduation? Who were some of the young ladies stepping into those roles from the team from a year ago?
Yeah, the group that made it to the Final Four 2 years ago, we lost to Platte Valley in the state finals, and we had one senior on that team. So we were coming into last year thinking, man, we're going to be really good. We've got everybody back but one kid, and we had a couple of younger kids that we knew were going to step in on top of the returners. Well, before the season started, we lost, one of our starters to a medical reason. She didn't play a game all year. In the middle of the season, our best defender had a terrible ankle sprain and missed a little bit of time. And then our leading scorer, Presley Hallweg, had the worst ankle sprain I've ever seen in my life. I've been, high school coach and teacher, administrator for 24 years. Her leg looked like a cadaver. It was purple up to her knee. I've never seen an ankle sprain that bad. We thought we'd lost her for the year. And this was a kid that was our leading scorer. And probably if we would have went on and won a state tournament, would have been the Class 1 Player of the Year. And so for us to lose 3 starters like we did, and then 2 of them did get to come back, they just weren't 100%. Just an incredible amount of perseverance. But that group last year just went through a lot of adversity, and the senior class that graduated, we ended up losing by 2 to Chadwick in the quarterfinal. That was just a great class for us because they were kind of the group that started this run that we've been on here at Delta. No star players in that group, but just a lot of really good high school basketball players, a lot of role players. And so we lost 3 of those seniors, and then we had one girl that transferred out that was a starter. And so we were replacing 4 kids with this group. And so it's really a unique team because we have Addie, Jaden, Presley are 3 guards that are back. Presley and Addison are seniors, have started all 4 years, all state players. And then Jade Berry is a junior who started since she's been in school. And Jade will probably graduate as the all-time leading scorer at Delta, all-time leader in assists, all-time leader in steals. I mean, she may go down as the best player to ever come out of Delta. And so we have these 3 great players, but the rest of the team has no experience. And so there's some talent there, but we're just replacing 2 years of kids that graduated that have so much experience. And so, again, for us to have the success that we've had, those 3 guards deserve a lot of credit. but the kids around them, how they have improved, has just been remarkable to watch.
Now you get ready here on Friday night. You're going to host a Walnut Grove team that is also familiar to the postseason. They've got a new coach now with Darren Archer has come in and taken over for Rory Henry. Rory still is involved with the school. He's superintendent there. He's kind of had to kind of step in here lately and kind of help out. But what do you know about the Walnut Grove Lady Tigers, and what are you going to have to do to come out on top?
Well, I know that when we played them 2 years ago in the Final Four, they started 3 freshmen, and those kids are juniors now. And I know that they've got a young group of kids to go with them, that they are high on over there at Walnut Grove, and they should be. I mean, those kids are going to be good players, and so it's a battle. And the thing about it this time of year, when you're playing this late in the postseason, everybody that was ready for their season to be over, everybody that might have had a little bit of quit in them, they're already at home. The 8 teams that are left playing in Class 1, they all would like to punch that ticket and go to the Final Four next weekend. So there are going to be no easy games once you get to this point in the year. We blow a lot of teams out all year long, and I was telling the girls yesterday in practice, those games are over. From here on out, you just got to go into every game and expect the other team to give you their best punch, and that's what we expect those girls to do. I mean, Walnut Grove's got a great tradition. They've got some proud fans, and we know there's going to be a lot of orange and black in here rooting those kids on Friday, and so we've got our hands full.
Yeah, you got one common opponent this year, and that's Chadwick. What do you take away from that game?
I don't think you can compare, anything about that game. Chadwick, first of all, is such a unique opponent because they play a very deliberate, very disciplined style. So they're going to play different against us than they would against Walnut Grove, and vice versa. Walnut Grove, doesn't play anything like we do. We press and we run and we're up tempo. Walnut Grove will push the tempo a little bit too, but they've got different personnel than we do, and so I don't think you can compare the score or anything about that game. I've watched that game on film. I think that they're going to prepare for us a different way, and we're going to prepare for them a different way, and just I don't think you can tell a whole lot about that game.
Again, we're visiting with Delta Head girls basketball coach David Heeb, and on the eve, so to speak, of their quarterfinal game with Walnut Grove coming up Friday night. What time does that game tip off?
6:00. The doors will open at 4:30, and I guarantee you this one will be sold out. Guarantee it.
7:30, 7:45 tomorrow night. If I look up and I see that Delta defeated the Walnut Grove Lady Tigers, what are one or two stats that you're going to be able to point to, whether it's turnovers, free throws, whatever, fouls? What's one thing you're going to be able to point at and say, this is why we won this game, because we controlled this?
I think it's just, you get to this stage of the playoffs, it means that you have good players. And, I'm not going to outcoach Darren Archer. He's not going to outcoach me. If Rory's still sitting over there on the bench, as great as Rory is, and I know Rory well, he's a friend and he's a terrific coach. Nobody's outcoaching anybody this time of year. It's going to come down to the players. And we've got a handful of great players. They've got a couple of great players. And so it's going to come down to which side had their great players, their headliners show up. That's going to be one part of it. And then the other part of it, Guy, you've watched a lot of basketball. You know how this works. There's always that unsung hero in one of these games. Which kid on either side, which one of the other kids made a big shot or made a big play or took a charge or whatever. And I think it's just going to come down to something that simple. If Addie, Jade, and Presley show up and they play the way that they're capable of playing, it's hard to beat us. And if our other kids all step up and contribute the way that they can contribute, it with those three playing, it's almost impossible to beat us. And so, and I'm sure that they feel the same way about their team. So we got to figure out a way to slow down those two really good players they got, and we got to figure out a way to key in on the other ones and not let somebody jump up and surprise us.
You bet. Well, Coach Heeb, as always, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time here on the Missouri Sports Network. And if you get an opportunity, you win, we'll get you back on next week. How's that sound?
Yes, sir. I appreciate everything you do for the kids and sports in Missouri, Guy. Thank you so much.
You bet. You're listening and watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Keep it right here. Everybody have a great day.